Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy, here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Homegirl.
and today we're going to talk about the ultimate guide for first-time homebuyers.
You're listening to the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, homebuilders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
So, Kim, how's things been going for you this week?
Pretty good. Just still trying to nurse my back. It's hurt. Anyways, went on vacation, rented a boat, hit some waves way too hard.
Yep.
Hurt my back.
Yep.
Somebody was driving.
That's right. My fault.
Get that checked out and then moving on. What about you?
Busy week. Had a lot of things going on. Listing some houses. Got
Yes.
some buyers that are, getting some things under contract. Had another commercial deal go under contract. So a lot of good things going on. Just kind of keeping my head above water. We got brick and sheetrock going up in the back there on the new house. So it's been a pretty full speed ahead week.
Yeah, we're trucking through. I think I counted up. The kids go back to school 3 weeks from yesterday. So, and I think that's schools around, most kids are going back either that first week of August or the next. And then, just time gets away from you. So
Band has already started for him.
Yeah, that's
he's
true.
already had rehearsals, starts band camp on Monday. So that pretty much nips it in the bud for us. Nora's been at art camp all week, so that's been good. But other than that, it's been pretty much wake up, work, get it done, rinse, repeat, and start over. So busy times. Anyway, let's get into the meat of the show today. Today we're going to talk about the ultimate guide for first-time home buyers. And really and truly, we understand that when you buy your first home, it's a lot of things that are new and overwhelming. It can be a lot of information coming at you at once. You got all kinds of different people telling you what to do. You got your real estate agent telling you. You got your parents telling you. You got your friends telling you. You got your lender telling you something. Everybody's telling you different things. You're looking at the news media, and they're saying, "Oh, the real estate market, blah blah blah." So try to kind of eliminate some of that clutter.
For first-time home buyers, you've never purchased a home, and so depending on what situation you were in, whether it be your parents' home, you were living with roommates, renting, you were living by yourself in an apartment building, all those things that I just mentioned, those are kind of secure. There's a safety net, if something were to go wrong with plumbing or something like that. And as people start to transition and think about owning their own home, I think, there's this dread of fear of
what if the hot water heater goes out? What if the air conditioner quits working? What if this happens?
And so, in thinking about being a first-time home buyer, you have to get out of your comfort zone. But let me tell y'all, that is the key to, the next step in life. And I'm not saying that, it's a bad thing to rent for your whole life. If that's the situation that you are in financially, that's the situation you're in financially. But being able to own a home puts your finances and things like that. You've got equity in something. And usually when people go out and buy, their first time home, it's not their dream home.
Right.
But you slowly build up. And so basically, you should have goals in mind of where you want to be when you want to be there, so, but you just got to start slow, but you got to start. Go ahead and jump in and take that plunge, and if you choose the right agent and, cross all your T's and dot all your I's and just stick with a plan, you will own your own home soon. And 2 years, a year.
Just got to make a plan.
Yeah.
And the first part of the plan.
Well, as far as you'll have equity in something instead of, just throwing money away, because renting is 100% interest.
Right.
And it's nothing that you own.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good point. A lot of times people say, well, the interest rates are so high, I'm waiting for them to come down. Well, you're paying 100% interest right now.
Right.
You're getting nothing. So first step, assess your finances.
Yes.
Right?
So once you've decided, though, that you do want to be a first-time home buyer, and you get out of that, that, okay, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And it's, it's the, where you are in life too. You may have had a promotion at your job or, something like that. And so it's time to buy a house. So you have decided to buy a house, and the first thing that you're going to do is assess your finances.
That's right. Yeah. You want to look, because of those things, Murphy's Law says if it can happen, it will, right? So when you buy a house, there is going to be something that goes wrong. You're going to have a water heater, or you're going to have a repair that has to be made in plumbing, or something's going to happen. You're going to have to buy a light fixture or whatever. You're going to have something done. So you got to have a little bit of a cushion there in your finances to be able to handle that, right? So determine your budget, evaluate your financial resources, so hey, this is how much money I have. This is what I need for down payment. This is what I need for funds in case something happens. This is what it's going to cost me to move. This is what it's going to cost me each month for my interest rate, whatever loan I'm getting, whatever product it is.
I think the biggest thing out of all that, though, is assess where you are, what you can afford before you start house hunting, though.
Absolutely.
Like you said, assess your financial situation in that, what can you afford? Because that will gauge where you start looking, because, if you were to look at a shelf of, say, light fixtures, and up here is like really nice light fixtures, and then you've got the medium grade, and then at the bottom that you have to kind of look for, you've got those, what is it, like discount lights, or
just like a light bulb on
there's
an
like a
extension
light
cord.
right, yeah, or like the little plate thing under the
yeah,
like what we had growing up, like a light bulb and then a little plate. That's
right.
dating us back to the 80s. But anyways, your eye's gonna go to that top light. Oh, I want that top light, and your mind's gonna think, oh, that's the one I want to buy, when in reality your budget in your pocketbooks tells you that you're on down the shelf a little more.
Champagne tastes on a beer budget, right?
Right,
that's what they
exactly.
say. Yeah.
But if you had been looking at that, all the light bulbs on that row initially, then it wouldn't have been so frustrating to begin with. So really know where you are, what you can afford.
Yeah, and you got to be disciplined, right?
Right.
Like it's easy to go in there and say, I'm going to buy that expensive thing on a credit card or whatever, but ultimately, financially, you can't afford that, so there's no reason to be looking at it.
Right. And then, like you said, you want to kind of save up for funds, and you want to kind of save up for when you buy a home. There's a couple of expenses that you will be out of pocket for initially before the whole process goes through, and usually you're out of pocket for a home inspection,
right,
that you'll have to pay for before. Like, you can't get a loan. You don't put that in your loan when you buy and close. So you'll need to have those funds, and then just like a fluff fund saved up, because you will more than likely have to pay closing costs and bring money to the table that day.
Yeah, and you can negotiate some of that stuff in, but ultimately you need to have the money to conduct the transaction, right? You're going to pay the attorney's fees, you're going to pay the bank fees, you're going to pay all that. So assess your finances and know where you are.
Right. The next thing in buying a home, for first-time home buyers, you really need to define your home needs. And for me, my big thing that I always tell people is location. If location really matters for you, if you want to be close to work, if you want to be close to schools in that particular school zone, if you want to be close to family, a lot of people work from home now, so that kind of opens the door. It's not so like I've got to be in this area or that area, and for that reason, we've seen a lot more homes, sell all over now. People are venturing out, but you get into a little bit of some Wi-Fi issues too if you get too far out.
Right.
Anyways, but location, to me, as far as, defining your home needs, you really need to consider location. The next thing is the size. Is it you and your spouse looking for a home? Is it you, your spouse, and your children? You needed to know how many bedrooms you need, the type of size of home that you need. And then next, there may be some features that you're really looking for in a first-time home. A lot of people, are coming from that apartment-style life, and they want a backyard, or they have a pet, and they really want a backyard that's fenced in, so, different kinds of features. A lot of people like open floor plans. They only want to look at houses with open floor plans, or all the bedrooms have to be on the first level, or, things like that. So kind of think about those things as you're thinking about your home needs. And then if you have any kind of preference in style, a lot of people are wanting that particular clean, modern look and style. And if your budget calls for that, then, go for it. But, all those things, location, the size of your house, features that you're wanting, and the style, take all those things into consideration.
Yeah, and so once you've done those 2 steps, right, you've said, here's how much I can afford, and here's what I'm looking for that I can't afford. These are the things I want. Then you take those 2 things and you go and find yourself a real estate agent, right?
Yes.
That's going to be the number one resource for you as you're looking for a home as a first-time home buyer. You want to make sure that you get connected to somebody who has expertise in all those areas.
Yes.
They can connect you to lenders who can help you with the financial side of it and say, oh, well, here's a program. Oh, you don't have a down payment? Well, here's a program that offers a grant. Oh, well, you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that's got da-da-da-da-da. Well, maybe what if we did this and we added a little space here, or you could count this as a bedroom. They're going to know all the ins and outs of what you're looking for, right?
Right. Basically, real estate agents are your friend when it comes to finding a home, especially first-time home buyers, because you are, you don't know anything really. You don't have any background as far as, your parents may have purchased a home, or, but a lot of times, a lot of people don't have background in buying homes, and just the smallest little thing, people are like, oh, what in the world, and all those stacks of papers and this and that. And then at the same time, they're like, well, I don't want to pay an agent that much for this or that. But I'm telling you, y'all, real estate agents are your best friend when you're looking for a house.
And a lot of people don't know this. If you're a home buyer, a real estate agent costs you $0.
Right.
A buyer's agent costs you $0. The seller's responsibility is always to pay for the real estate agent. Right. Both of them, yours and the other one. So when you're selling a home, you're paying for those marketing and tours and those real estate agents. You're paying that percentage, right? But if you're a buyer, you're not paying a real estate agent anything. They don't charge anything.
Right. In closing, that is on the buyers or the
seller side.
Seller side, yeah.
So once you found a real estate agent, you assess your finances, you know what kind of house you're looking for. The next step
is start house hunting.
Find it.
Really, though, I'm going to go back and say when you start house hunting, a lot of people will start house hunting in the beginning. You may be up late one night and then you try to skip step 1, 2, 3 and go on to this next step, start house hunting. And that's okay to an extent, but you get into that shelf of lights again. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that you go through the first couple of steps before you do start the house hunting process. But definitely start. And then going back to what John was saying, you really, really need to rely on a real estate agent, because a real estate agent has so much intel in what's out there. I know that you've got the internet in the palm of your hands on your smartphone and things like that, but we have access to databases of information of homes that are being listed, and we have, all the real estate agents talk, and they have, they talk like, oh, they know what's coming available. And, in that, it's called a pocket listing, so to speak.
Right.
They may have something coming down the pike that...
and they have their former clients,
Their
right?
former clients that they know.
that so-and-so, he might would sell.
Or he's thinking about it. And, and it helps them out too, and it helps their sellers out too. And so it's so important to really get a real estate agent. But when you start house hunting, though, time is important. If you're really... when you've written your goals out and you want to buy a home and you want to be in a home, say, if Christmas is like 5 months away, well, you need to start today, and time is important, because people change jobs all the time, and
time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence. Mm-hmm. So that real estate agent is really going to help you with your house hunting process. As far as homes and house hunting, real estate agents will send you pictures and links and all kinds of information and tax assessments and things like that. But before, and you schedule a walkthrough, a private showing with a real estate agent. But before you do that, we always ask that you just drive by, because that goes back to location. And, you may know immediately, I do not want to be in this location. And so we always ask you to do a drive-by. So you want to drive by if you find something that you like. If a real estate agent has sent you a link, I usually send, I get the information of what they're looking for, and I give you about 6 houses, and you go through them, and I ask you to drive by anything that you really like. We set up a showing and move on from there, and sometimes you go back a couple of times, and you may want to take your parents, and you may want to take your friend, or and we've done that. I think you're doing that this afternoon.
Yeah, we're going for a second showing this afternoon for sure.
So, those are all things that happen in the house, new home buyers process.
So the next step, after you've got your agent, you've looked at some houses, you finally said, hey, this is the house that I want to be in. Then you're going to make that offer, right? Your real estate agent's going to guide you through the process and say, here's all the things we need to ask for. Maybe we need to have some contingencies in place for an inspection, for termites, for any kind of pest inspection. Maybe we need to have a contingency on appraisal, contingency on financing that makes sure you get the financing. They'll walk you through each and every step of that and make sure that you're comfortable with the document that you have moving forward that says you want to buy the house. From there, once you have it under contract, then you're going to want to perform an inspection. Right. We always we don't require it, but we always recommend our clients.
Always, especially first-time home buyers.
Absolutely. Because there's going to be so much stuff that you don't even know what to look for that a qualified inspector is going to find.
And these, there's so many videos that we've put out of home inspections. You can go back and watch. But I'm telling y'all, like, our naked eye, and we just don't have, and the average person and the average eye doesn't have the capability of detecting things that a home inspector would, and they've got the tools needed to do those testing procedures. And this is somewhere where you're going to live. You're going to spend a long amount of time there. And you talk about mold or radon, or, if there's a leak or whatnot. And so those home inspections will find those out.
Yeah, you want to catch them now so that they don't cost you money later, right? Because right now, while you're in this position, you can have your inspection done and then say to the buyer or to the seller, hey, we want you to repair these things, right? Mm-hmm. And they say, well, we'll do that, or we'll give you an allowance. Either way, you get that accounted for before you make the purchase of the home. Right.
Let's go back real quick, though. Once you make an offer, though, you go back and forth. That's where your real estate agent, I think, is, worth their money in gold, because they are going to be your back and forth with the other agent. It's not just you and the seller. If the buyers and sometimes that happens, and, for sale by owner, the buyers and the sellers kind of go at it. And that's what, you saw way back, when people were selling homes, way back. And everything. But anyways, you go back and forth with your agent, you decide upon a price and contingency and all those things, and then you're going to put down earnest money. Mm-hmm. So that, when we're talking about fees and things like that, and it's usually $500 to $1,000 earnest money. It depends on the cost of the house. And that will come off of the purchase price at the end. So a lot of people don't understand earnest money, but when you do have a contract, you agree upon a price, the sellers, they want to see that, you're backing that, you're good for that.
That you're serious about it, right? Instead of going out, you're not just going out and making 20 offers on 20 different houses and hoping something pans out.
Right.
You put some money at stake and say, hey, I'm serious about this. Here's my money that says it's a token.
And here's the other thing, y'all. This is something that a lot of people don't really think about, but a real estate contract is a legally binding contract. Once you sign those documents, you're saying that you want to purchase this home at this price from those people, and they can't go out unless there's, some statements in there. If they have a home to sell, you can help me out here.
Yeah, put like a contingency on
the sale, but all those, it's all contingent on usually, you getting the money for the house, and if the inspection is good, the appraisal has to come back at that price and things like that.
Yeah, they're going to ask you next to prove that you can do it, right?
Right. And so, moving on from there, proving that you can do it. So you need to secure your financing. make sure, and we, have access to lenders, and there's several lenders out there that you may already be in contact with, but you want to get in touch with a home mortgage lender, and that person will guide you through the home buying process as far as financial securing your finances. And so you want to have just be thinking about, you want to be gathering up your tax returns, have your W-2s. You want to have at least 2 to 3 months of pay stubs. Typically, you can't, I just got a new job, and I want to buy a house tomorrow. Those two things don't really, they want to see you have that job.
Consistency in employment.
Consistency in
That
employment,
you've been doing
yes.
the same job for an amount of time where they can say, okay, well, he's going to keep making the same amount of money.
You want to have your credit score up. It needs to be like 620, 630, 640.
Yeah, I think there's some things out there that may be sub 600, but 600 is pretty much a baseline.
It's a standard. And then, look at all your debt to your
income.
Debt to income. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like not with it today. Debt to income ratio. How much debt is out there that you have to pay every month, your credit cards and things like that, versus how much income you make, because all those are factors in how much of a house that you can afford and securing your finances to move forward to buy that house. And then a lender is going to go out there and shop for a mortgage. They're going to find the best mortgage for you.
They're going to find something that suits your needs, right? Whether they're doing that loan in house or if they're shopping it.
Right, they're going to find the best loan.
Market. Yeah.
A VA loan if you qualify. If you're a military
veteran.
Oh my word! Please, yeah. If you're a veteran, a VA loan, first-time home buyers qualify for certain perks and things like that. And so a lender is going to know all those things. And also, the lender is going to walk you through the loan application process. And usually, several lenders that we know that our clients use, they can usually get you a pre-approval letter in usually like a day. Pretty quick because usually
if you're diligent about getting them the documents, that's the thing,
exactly.
Right? If you get them what they need,
all this
they
is
get you what you
online.
need.
A lot of the loan application process is online, and then you actually bring in the documentation to them. They can pretty much get you pre-approved in a day. So secure your financing, which in turn is get your pre-approval letter to move forward, and then you start the whole process of buying the house. So
you got that. You got everybody. You got. You assessed your finances, you defined your needs, you found a realtor, you went and looked, you found something you wanted, you got it under contract, you got your lender to give you the final approval. Everybody's got now what they call the clear to close, right?
Yep. Well, they went through all your financing. And let me just say, this is a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day, but there's so many things not to do when you have made an offer on a home and you have you've moved forward, you're good to go as far as the price, you can afford it, rent, your debt to income ratio looks good, you're gonna, everything's good, and you go, and there's several things that you do not do. You don't quit your job. You don't buy a new car. You don't close out a credit card. You don't max out a credit card. You have to, basically I tell people to just stay, just live, just breathe.
Sit
still. Yes.
Leave your money. When they take that financial snapshot,
it's a snapshot. That's what I was about to say.
Leave it where it is.
Yep.
Don't move it.
Don't move it. So, just kind of breathe on your couch during this time. But yeah, literally don't, as far as financing, don't do any kind of sudden jumps.
No major moves.
No major moves, yeah. And keep your job. So, and then after that, when you're clear to close, you'll do a final walkthrough.
Typically the day before, we'll go over there and do a final walkthrough just to make sure, hey, all the property is like we said it was going to be. There's no holes in the wall. There's no major problems that we have. Oh, we didn't see that because, there's a big giant hole in the floor, but the bed was covering that up, or they had a rug over
those things don't happen,
though. That does happen. Sometimes you just never know. People move their furniture, and then it winds up knocking a hole, and you have to fix it. Or
but to me,
people take their curtains down, or their doorbells off, or they do whatever kind of silly thing they do.
And then there may be things that you've written in the contract, like I wanted that TV to stay, and then the people actually took it. And then you have to make them bring it back because you're not closing. That contract is not fulfilled in what it said.
Or a refrigerator.
Or a refrigerator. That's another podcast for another day. But if that happens, they'll bring it back and put it on the porch.
They might. Yeah, they might do that.
Yep, after dark.
So once you've got all that handled, right, you go to the closing, you close the deal, you sign the paperwork, and you get the keys to the house, and you're off to the races. Next thing to do is take your couch that you've been sitting on for a month, not moving your money around, and move it to your new home, right? And there are a lot of things that you got to do there as well when you get the thing closed up, right? When you close and you get the keys, that's not the end of it. So what are some other things that we have to do?
Definitely you want to work out the utilities prior to, usually you can take a CD, a closing disclosure statement, from closing to the utility department and arrange utilities to be left on because, we live in the South, y'all, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, we have like a little bitty snapshot of like where it's not just humid and hot. And if those utilities get cut off, you do not want that to happen. So
they run an
you can
extension cord to your neighbor's house to keep your refrigerator going.
Yep, and crying and praying that, you don't lose
that
your
happened
vicinity.
to us. That happened to us one time.
An extension cord to your neighbor's house.
It's a good way to meet your neighbors.
Right.
Right.
To keep your refrigerator going. But yes, you can transfer utilities. That's very important. You want to transfer your address and things like that. There's a lot of jobs some jobs will fine you for not changing your address.
Yeah, our licenses and stuff, we have to keep updating
Right,
our address. And then you want to make sure you do the change of address form on the USPS website.
Right. And then also choose a good moving company. Friends can help and you can save money, but once you get, this is for first-time home buyers. So
yeah, you probably got some people that
you
can help
probably
you.
got some people, but there are a lot of good moving services out there though that we used a moving service the last time for the first time, right? No.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it made all the difference, literally. I mean, it was, and that goes back to that fluff fund. You can use some of that fluff fund that you had initially to pay those movers with. So,
and once you've got that done, settle into your new home, and you are a first-time home
buyer. Yep.
So,
owner. That's right.
Yeah.
You've bought it. Now you own it.
you got to cut that yard.
Yep. But y'all, seriously though, at the end of the day, you will not be disappointed. I really do believe because, a home grows in value. When you buy a new car or, a new to you car, that car sits out there and it loses value. Homes keep their value generally. I mean,
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time, yes. And, that goes back to choose the right location and things like that. To me, location is...
Yeah, that's what they say.
So
location,
important.
location.
Right.
First rule of real estate.
If you've got, real quick though, if you're, I can afford a house between $300 to $350. That's my top. And if there's a really good house that you like at $350 in a really good location, spend that extra $50 because 3 years from now, that $50 may grow to $150.
Mm-hmm.
Where the lower location home may only have increased to, $50 period over those 3 years. So location is very important, but we look forward to hearing from you. If you're looking for, if you are a first-time home buyer, we'd love to walk you through this process and show you a home and get you into your own home with your own keys and moving that couch out.
Moving that couch. That's right. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. We appreciate you guys watching. Drop a comment below if you have other tips for a first-time home buyer. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a rating or review, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your number one source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.